Previously on Cold Fear.
Give me your situation.
Back off, Bennett.
I need you to find Kamsky's notes.
Back off, Bennett.
With his data, we can make sure this never happens again.
Back off, Bennett.
You get your girlfriend shot, not eaten by monsters.
She's not my girlfriend.
Someday, I promise, you will understand.
Anna! No!
Hansen, talk to me.
I'm here.
Have you located the notes?
Screw the notes. Those things just infected Anna.
Don't do anything stupid, Hansen. There's nothing you can do.
There's an antidote. I can still save her.
An antidote? Fine. If you think you've got a shot, go for it. The notes can wait. For now.
For now. Hello and welcome back, and if you're anything like me and you were wondering what Tom was looking at during that intro cutscene, you can see him here just sort of looking off to the side at something. Well, let's take a look at what he was looking at. It's a pipe. A pipe. So let's move on ahead and, well, we'll take a look at what our objectives are. You can see that all we really need to do is get over to the science module. And I don't think I showed this before, but this headless corpse is breathing. So what do we do now? Well, I guess the only option is to go back the way we came. Oh.
Auto defense system activated. Unauthorized area cleared. Doors unlocked.
Ah, well, wasn't that interesting?
Here's the electronic key.
We have a couple of things that we can look at here, and the first one is that we can actually interrupt all of this dialogue by killing that exocell.
Don't do anything stupid, Hansen. There's nothing you can do.
There's an antidote. I can still save her.
An antidote? Fine.
Area cleared. Doors unlocked.
There we go, we just make everyone shut up. Let's try it again, but this time we'll actually let the wound talk.
Auto defense system activated. Unauthorized personnel have been detected. Please begin evacuation plan B. This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test.
Why is it in English? Everyone here is Russian. And while we're locked in, we can at least try to have a look at the doors.
It's blocked off. Think, Hansen. Think.
Nope.
It's blocked off. Think, Hansen. Think.
Yeah, not that one either. Well, it looks like we're going to have to kill this thing. In fact, it's kind of an arbitrary thing. What we really want is to get the elevator key, but we'll get back to that in just a moment. And something else I found as well, if we fire off a spear gun shot into the scientist's head, whenever his head explodes, it's still floating there in space.
Auto defense system activated.
There we go, and we've got ourselves a little pet exocell. If we try and shoot it, the spear gets a bit weird inside of it, but eventually it rights itself and it's speared through the exocell.
This is not a test. Area cleared.
Lovely.
Doors
And if you think you're going to get smart and fire off a grenade, think again, because that fire extinguisher is very close.
Auto defense system activated.
Now, if you remember back to when we first got to the oil rig, we had that elevator and we could go one way, but we couldn't get across the bridge. Well, that's where we need to be going. Unfortunately, we can't go that way, so we have to find another way to get there. Luckily, we just got ourselves that elevator key, and I know exactly where to go. That takes us back to where the dog was. Oh no. You, sir, are the least of my worries. So let's see, we don't need to ever go through there again, and we won't be coming back that way until the end of the game. So let's go back this way and through the door and into the dark corridor again. Now I've killed him in the extreme run, but he's still alive in this one. Well, better safe than sorry. Ah, get back here! Ah, shit. What weapon do I pick? Well, let's try the MP5. We can have a bash at that. He's gone. He's probably crawled into one of the vents again. Oh, the music stopped. Oh, that's usually a good sign. Ah! Fuck! Get off me, you bummer. Shit. You can see that the MP5 ammo gets eaten up really quickly and doesn't seem to do all that much damage. We'll just have to settle for the shotgun. Here we've got an attack coming up from him, and you see that he hits me and then sort of walks away. He doesn't actually pounce on me and hold me to the ground. I mean, that'll happen in the next one. Yeah, sometimes he just hit and runs. Alright, killing blow. Oh, fuck, he's still alive. And he's running as well. Ah, this is gonna take forever! So while we're waiting, let's have a look at some concept art for the dog. Here he is in his final form. The in-game term for this particular variation of enemy is the Exo Shade. They're kind of non-specific about saying that it's a dog, but it really is. We've got a bunch of different variations here. This one is with a slightly different face. It's got no eyes and it's like a vertical maw. It looks particularly nasty. Another one here with slight variations on the mouth. The one on the right looks kind of soulless and really weird and creepy. Not to mention that they're both standing up in this particular version. Here's another one that's kind of very reminiscent of the Thing, and I'm glad they didn't go down this way because it looks kind of dumb. Here we've got some concept art for the initial storyboards for the start of the game, and it indicates that the dog was supposed to be on the ship at one point. And finally some promotional art and two variations of the same picture. The only major difference aside from the colour is that Tom's hair changes. Takes on a feathered, ruffled look. What a man. Right, let's take care of this jerk off and get it over with. Same as killing them the last time, we're just going to blast him full of holes with a shotgun. There we go, that makes nice and short work of them. But before we go much further, we're just going to backtrack a little bit here because there's something I want to show off. If you remember back to the last time we were in this corridor, I was talking about this door and how I thought that it led into the medbay and that actually it probably couldn't because it would be like at right angles to it. Well, it turns out that I was wrong, and let's see why. Here we're just coming out of the top of that elevator from the very beginning of the oil rig. I'm using exported stuff that I managed to grab out of the game. Here's where the doctor died. We'll just go into the medbay, the locked door's at the end of it. Back outside, there's where the doctor got grabbed and killed, and out here's a walkway that we went across. It's where we picked up the shotgun and the AK. Around we go, and through this door is where the cargo containers are. And while we're here, I want to talk about something else. Remember up in this corner I said there was a door and I wondered what the hell it was about? Well, looking at this exported information, you can see that there's actually some planks up there that lead up onto the top of the shipping container and the big hole that's in the top of it. I have no idea why it's there. It indicates that maybe at some point you were supposed to be able to climb up on top, but I mean, I can't say for certain. I have absolutely no other information than just this stuff, but it's really crazy that it's there. But anyway, let's move on. I'm going to go out into the dark corridor where we're at now. Where we killed the dog, and up the corridor is where we are currently standing at this doorway. So what's on the other side? It is the medical bay. You can see that it lines up perfectly. In fact, the way that I grab this information is that while I'm playing the game, I just grab it out of the DirectX Vertex buffers and just write it to a file and export it into something else. But I don't even have to actually position all of these separate sections. They are perfectly aligned, and that tells me one very important thing. That when they created the oil rig, and I'm presuming the ship as well, they made it as one gigantic piece and then chopped it up into the doorways, and I find that really fascinating that they did it that way. They didn't just create each room separately, they actually made it as one coherent piece and then chopped it up. I'm just wondering if the game was actually uninterrupted by doorways at one point, or if it always had the doors. But it's a really interesting thing to see that they've done this. But anyway, I've blabbed on for too long. Let's move on. Okay, we're done here, so let's do a 180 and we'll take a trip back down this corridor here. And this time, instead of going right, we'll take a left. If we took a right, that would take us back through the storeroom and the stuff we'd already just seen, and back to that lift to the other side where the bridge is that we can get across. But we're going to go over here and we're going to use our key card to get in the lift to the Habitation module.
It's unlocked.
Yeah, looks like an elevator to me. Got a chap over here, and beside him he's got a letter from Dr. Kamsky. Now, this one's a bit interesting. It goes on to say that some of the exocells have asymmetrical development, and it means that they become particularly resilient to things like bullets and other things like that. Now, obviously it's going to cause a bit of a problem for us, but the letter does go on to say that while they're resilient in some places, some of the other bits are a little underdeveloped, and basically amount to what we would really call just a weak point. So we've got that to look forward to. Enemies with weak points. And a small additional thing here about the lift, even though it's making a rumbling noise, it's not actually going anywhere. Oh, that building's got something growing on it. Maybe this isn't the best idea after all. Well, this actual location is one of my favorites in the game. It's one of just at least the most visually arresting ones. Let's take a look around and take in the sights. It looks very nice. Of course, if you're going to be doing that, you need to pay attention to where you're standing. Right, before we make our way across, we're going to stop for a second and just take a look at the Habitation module itself. Might not be able to make it out, but it's actually floating on some ballast things, I guess. If we take a look at this concept art, we can see that they're clearly marked there. A little difficult to see, but they are there. The water does reveal them a little bit, but if we switch to wireframe mode, we can see them a bit more clearly. It's nice attention to detail. It's not something you would probably notice. Well, let's do that again. It's nothing special to this. We just time our runs and off we go. Get over to the other side. And before we go inside, let's just take a last bit of a look around. It said it's very nice to look at. Right, off we go. Huh. Well, it looks actually pretty normal in here. There's none of that shit growing around, so, let's take a look at this vending machine.
The damn thing's stuck.
Nope, stuck. Well, which creates, I guess we can pilfer through those and see if we can find ourselves something useful. And I'm going to make use of my lovely little trick here and pilfer the drinks machine for some health. Nice that I've learned that. That's going to be pretty useful. There's a lot of exploding barrels around. Create stuff here. And one little thing here is, if we take a look over at this radiator, there's a seat tilted back and leaning against it. I don't know why, but I like it. So let's see, we've got a domey thing up there, but there's nowhere to go from the ground floor, so we've just got to go up. Up and around. There are a lot of exploding barrels here. I have the sneaking suspicion that I really shouldn't be blowing them up, at least not right now. I mean, you don't leave this sort of crap lying around for no reason, do you? There's not really all that much to do here, except just follow the walkway around. What the hell is that? What the what? Excuse me, I'll just take some bullets out of your ass, that's fine. Shoot him in the head just to be sure. Oh god, what the fuck is going on there? Don't touch it, Tom. Just stay away and try the door. And yeah, as you might expect, there's nothing. Don't stand on it, Tom! Well, there's some steps over there. I guess we'll take those down and... Oh. Oh god, one of those things. Okay, time to just get stuck in. We know what to do here. We just burn the thing alive. Ooh, barrels. Fancy meeting you here. Might drop an exocell, maybe 2, but that's easy enough to take care of. And eventually the thing will just burn to death. But before we move on from there, here's something that we can do. We don't even have to drop down, because that's what actually kicks off the thing and starts spawning enemies. We can burn it through the stairs. Doing it from this particular perspective, which is not the first person one, or the over the shoulder one, we can't actually burn through it unless we do like sort of a waggle thing, but if we aim, then we can get through. That's why you want to use this view mode instead of the other one, because you just get more precision that way. And anyway, yeah, we can just burn it there and not have to worry about anything. Well, having said that, when we do burn them, the exocells do drop, but because we're not on the ground floor, they're not actually coming for us. There is an exocell down there behind those barrels, even though we can't see it. Just gonna try dropping off the edge here, maybe we can get a better look at it that way. You can see it rolling around there. It hasn't actually started walking or anything, it's still in sort of rolling around the ground. No, I can't really see it from there. Right, see, just rolling. Oh. Okay, we'll just drop down and that should wake it up, and then it'll come walking towards us. And then we just murder it. Lovely. No problem at all. We've got a fridge here with some stickers on it. One of them's a horse, I know that much, one at the top left. I'm not sure about the rest, but it's an interesting detail. Microwave is fucked. Got a sink, never mind that. And a pair of legs. What do we got? Nothing. Okay, well, back here we can't get back up again. Somebody's been very nice and just tucked them away. We've got a vent up there. Ashtray for no reason. And just really not much else. Looks like the only thing we've got to do is to head forwards. And that's through, stop shooting that, it's through that door, but it's, oh, that doesn't look safe at all. I don't want to get any closer to that. Okay, Tom, you have to be very careful and stay as far away from that as possible. Go! Tom, you fucking ball bag, you got infected again. There's an exocell in your head. Jesus Christ. Oh, and there's another 2 coming for us as well. You're gonna have a party in my fucking skull. Right. Okay, so take care of them. We've got those are, I don't know what those are, but we came sliding through them. We've got another one of those exo-cell generator thingies there, and we've got the guy just sort of hanging around. I wonder what's in there. Well, I guess we'll never know. It looks dangerous, let's stay away. We don't have to shoot that, we can actually just kill the guy himself, which is safe enough. And again, there's got 2 of those things there. And he's dead. And when we actually get up to the door, we find that we can't actually open it, so it kind of served no purpose whatsoever. I mean, I guess it was a nice way to kill someone, and it was certainly interesting, I suppose, but it really doesn't get us anything or get us anywhere. Something else we can do is we can shoot him to distract him and get him away from the fence, and fire off a spear gun just to get his attention again, and shoot the electrical thing. And then just wait and enjoy. Lovely. So what else have we got down here? Well, we have these 2 things, but as long as we don't aggravate them, we're actually pretty much okay. There's not really anything to worry about. It doesn't set them off. Go back this way. We've got a slope that goes up. Gonna take a look at that in just a second. But we've got something of interest. Well, not just yet. We've got another slope over here. We'll be taking both of those eventually. But before we do that, we've got this. Good God. I think I should be leaving. Yes, let's just go. It looks like a revenant from Doom. I don't get it. I don't understand why this is here or what's going on. Oh, there's some skulls in the ground as well. Yeah, that's nice. But yeah, I don't know why he's here. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He's kind of similar to that big monster that we saw earlier on. There's some concept art of the area that they were doing. For some reason they made this, and then made an even closer version of just that thing. I don't know why, because it serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever. We can try to shoot it if we want, and if we try and blow it up, or eventually I'll try and set it on fire, but it does nothing to it at all. There seems to be no purpose for it, other than to look really fucking weird. And it does. It really sticks out compared to everything else in the game. It's a fucking weird thing. What's a possibility is that it's actually all that stuff that's growing around the place, that's where it's growing from. It could be that that particular infected person ended up mutating and just sort of becoming this biomass that just spread everywhere. That's probably what it is, but it's never really made clear. So what we're going to do here is go up this, and we end up coming out that vent that we saw in this room. Gives us a way to get back if we really wanted to, which is handy, but yeah. In fact, this vent I missed the first time around when I was playing the game. It was only exploring that I found that there was actually a second slope going up, because it kind of, that area below leads you in sort of unconsciously towards the correct way that you need to go and not back this way. And while we're up here, we'll just take a look at wireframe mode of the inside of this place. We haven't killed that guy yet, but it gives us a chance to look at the hole in the ground. We're not actually meant to get to that door and go through. We have to fall through that sort of tubey pipe thing, and then it just sort of shows that it sort of leads down there. So, down we go. Cutscene this time, and we're just gonna go round to the right, and that's where we need to be heading up to continue on with things. This place is fucking disgusting. Up we go. Right, let's see, we're in a... this place isn't really all that much better. In a sleeping room, it must be in a habitation. Oh, we got a couple of guys here. We'll just quickly take care of them. They're not really all that much of a problem. If you listen carefully, you can hear one of the exocell generators around, but it's not quite a problem at the moment. You can see that the infestation, or whatever it is sort of covered everything up. Got a door here, and I think that leads back to you know, the tunnel that we fell through just moments before. Well, I think that's where the door is. I don't have sort of the game assets or anything to prove it, but there's a vent that we just came out of, and what we're going to do is just show you some concept art of what the room looks like. Yeah, it's pretty close. Well, as close as can be. Let's stay in, and let's go into sleeping room 2. It's in here that you can really see the sort of the visual effect of Tom being infected by an exocell. Everything's all very, very swimmy and everything, and it stands out a lot more in this particular room. So for some reason, sleeping quarters are around the back. I'm trying to do something here, and I'll remind you about that in a moment. But first, we're gonna take care of a couple of guys. This guy looks too easy to be true, so we'll just move on, and we'll just trigger some of these folk. No big deal, really. Seen this 100 times before. Step out of the way, and job done. We might as well put over him while he's sitting there. There's not really all that much to say about this particular barracks room. We've got another bony arm there. Pop him in the head, it's not quite working. Oh, I wonder why that guy didn't get up when we first passed him. That's a little weird, but anyway, yeah, as I was saying, there's not really anything to do here. Obviously we've got the usual guys just sort of hanging around, and we can pilfer them for ammo and stuff, but there's not really much else except for that. That's something that we don't really see all that much, and that's an interactable button, and that does something. And we'll come back to that in a bit. We've got a book there. Okay, let's do a little bit of chat about some books. What we're going to do here is just show some images of some of the books that are found in this particular area. I'm just going to do them all at once, just to kind of get it out of the way. First one up here we've got is The Memoirs of Cleopatra. Now this is the French edition of Margaret George's book. It's the third in the series, and this particular edition has this particular cover, which appears in the game. Next up, we've got this funny looking thing. Have you got any idea what it is? Well, I'll tell you, it's a book about calculators. About Russian calculators. Just reading from the blurb here, it's one of the authors of this book is none other than Eugene Kanevsky, a designer of the Soviet Union's first fully electronic calculator. Alright. And apparently on the cover is you don't want to know this. It's on the cover is the only known picture of the Iskra 114. It's the only known picture of it in existence. And this one is a book which shows detailed schematics of the Soviet Navy that were, ships that were active between the years shown. Another thing we've got here is just what appears to be a cover, and I'm not sure if it's lifted from this, but this is a Polish book, and if you look closely, the cover here is extremely similar. I think they maybe just slapped on a different title on the top, or maybe just stole it or something, or it's a translated version. I'm not entirely sure, because the only one I could get is the Polish one, but there you go, it's about ships. And finally, this one isn't actually about a book, it's a tiny little map picture that shows up, and if we get in, well, not getting closer, but have a search for it, we end up with this. It's a map of Iraq. Yes. Iraq. Okay, we'll just clean up Mr. Bony Arm here, and then we'll get back to this switch that's beside us. I'll explain what it does first. Let's run our way all the way back around to the start, and you'll recognize that there's a door here. If we try to open it...
Great. A door with no handle.
Yep, a door with no handle. That's not particularly useful. Excuse me, I'll just take that flamethrower ammo, thank you. I'll explain that in a minute as well. Okay, as you might have guessed, all we have to do is hit the switch.
It's unlocked.
It's unlocked. He doesn't. I want to know how he knows it's unlocked, but it is. So leg it back, and that puts us inside a room. And we got a room with the gorilla on the bed. Why is there a gorilla on the bed? Is it in charge? Some concept art of the gorilla stuff. That Russian text says cold fear. Yeah, in case you were wondering. Seems that the gorillas were supposed to be an actual enemy, and here's just some of the concept art stuff for them, but apparently they didn't really make it into the game itself other than just these lifeless corpses. Well, having said lifeless, you can interact with them, or you can at least kill them and you can hit them and everything like that. So it is like they're alive, like they're one of the humans that don't get up and chase after you that are kind of still alive. They're like that too. So, see I'm picking this stuff up. What we're going to do here is going to switch into wireframe mode, and I'm going to show you that on the other side of this wall is nothing on those little on tables. So next up I'm going to interact with the door, and you will see that all of the items that are sitting on those boxes on the other side of the door will magically appear. And that means we're able to pick stuff up through the wall. Eventually I'll make my way over there, and there it all is. So we can just pick stuff up at our heart's content, and we don't even need to go in. As it stands, there are other things in the room itself, so it's not as if everything that we can pick up is sitting right there. There's, as you've seen at the start, there's some health. Got some stuff up behind me on this little table here. This appears to be some sort of captain's desk thing. I mean, there's all sorts of maps and books and things lying around in this room. Books that we've already gone over. Got a nice jacket there, and a safe. A safe that we can't open. I wonder what's inside. Right, and yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not really much else going on here. Out we go. Actually, still got one last thing to do. Hello, sir. Fuck! Did not expect that. Right, so what have we got next? We're gonna head back out here into the main corridor. I said before that there's an exocell generator just up ahead, and we'll get to that in just a second. You can see the objectives themselves haven't actually changed. Table here with not really anything on it. Scientific module, that's where we need to be going, but we'll not go there just yet because around this corner is one of these jerks. Now luckily for us, we don't really need to bother with it just yet. We can actually get past without it being in, well, as I just did there. If we get a little bit too close, that'll actually trigger it, so never mind, we might as well just take care of it now. Complete waste of grenades. Job done. Okay, let's take a look up these steps. I'm going to actually go up here, and there's a door up ahead, but I'm not actually going to go through. I'm going to save it until the next video, and then well, maybe the video after, I'm not entirely sure, but it's the refectory. A lot of bullet holes there. That doesn't look like a good thing. But yeah, as I said, we'll come back to that. It's not really much of an issue at the moment. We know where we need to go, but before we do that... we're not going to go there, because in fact we actually cannot get in.
Great, it's locked.
We're going to go into the other sleeping room. We've got some showers, but again, that'll come up in the next video. Let's take a look inside. Now this is more like it. And the bullets we can pick up here, a bunch of maps and things as usual. We've got one of the Black Sea right there. Right, moving on. This one's a little bit more like a sleeping quarters than the previous one. I prefer this one more because you get directly in there and there's no sort of weird U that you have to get around to get to the other cots. Or bunks. There we go. Oh, got some guys here. Wakey wakey! Eggs and Becky. No, no, I guess they're dead to the world. Dead to the world! Ah, right, okay, that's your MP5. Just see how completely rubbish it is. It just spits out all of its ammo really quickly and doesn't really seem to do all that much damage. You're just so much better to stick with the AK in all instances. But what I'm going to do here is show that if we stay over here and fire off a shot, we wake the guys up. I'm surprised that that gunshot didn't wake them up when I killed that guy in the bottom bunk, but apparently it does not. So anyway, let's have a look around. You might be able to see... oh, no? No, dartboard. Not a bad score. Anyway. Still more books and radios lying around. Some photos of people. I didn't really bother chopping out all of that stuff. It isn't particularly interesting. It's mostly just pictures of ships, and that one in particular is an oil rig. Over here, got more maps. A memo to Yusupov. Memo doesn't actually say who it's from, but it's about getting the oil rig itself ready for all of the laboratory stuff to happen, and about how the crew members were sent home, and anyone who had seen an exocell was taken care of. So I'm assuming all those people were killed. And another button thing. Now, unfortunately, this one is just decoration. You can't actually hit it. I get it in my head that maybe I can. Come on, do something. Nah, fuck it. Never mind. Right, before we head out, I'm just going to show some lovely concept art of sleeping rooms. This is the one that we're currently in. You can see it's quite close. It's even got the dartboard. Dartboard itself, if you look really closely, or I zoom in, it's got a knife in it. I wonder why they didn't do that. And here's another concept art of, I'm guessing it was supposed to be the other room, but it didn't actually end up being that way. Okay, so where are we heading now? Well, we're not going to go to any of those rooms. We're going to this scientific module, and that's this particular door. This very sturdy looking door is how we're going to get there. We've got a lift. A lovely lift. We've been in one of these before. We just hit the switch, it shakes a little bit, and then we end up where we're supposed to be. There's not really anything fantastic. Ooh. Underwater tunnel. Holy shit, that sounds awesome. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up! Ah, right, okay. And just for the sake of showing it off, let's hit the button and we'll see that we're not actually moving. Alright, let's go. Keep an eye on the glass on the left. Jesus Christ, an invisible enemy. What do we do? What do we do? The fuck! Oh, you little bastard shit. This new enemy type here is the Exospectre, also given the internal development name of Hunger. We'll be seeing more about them later on, but first, what we're going to do is just have a little look around the underwater tunnel before we move on. We'll be coming back at some point, but what usually happens when we head back the first time is this happens. The fuck is that? This has always bothered me. It's always some little flash and I never actually get to see what it is, so I ended up taking my time and trying to put this together. Really, it's me in this tunnel for a couple of minutes, just inching my way very, very slowly up the tunnel trying to get to the trigger point. Eventually I do, and this is it. And that was it, just showing the glass cracking. Now the problem is that that gets interrupted if you're moving, and since it only triggers while you're moving past something, then it's kind of dumb. It's a nice environment and it looks pretty and everything, but really it's just one long tunnel with not really much else going on. I've got some concept art of it, it's just, you know, an underwater tunnel. Taking a more leisurely look outside, we can just see there's a bunch of fish and things just knocking about. The ocean floor's just sitting around, nothing really special going on. If you can see the underside of the ocean and it's all stormy and as you might expect. But other than that, there's not really anything else to say here. I don't really see why they put this in the game other than making a tunnel that leads to one other part of the base, but well, one other part of the oil rig anyway, but why could they not just have a closed tunnel? It doesn't really make any sense that it's this way, but it looks nice. Checking it out in wireframe, you can see that it's pretty complicated, and once again, it's kind of needless. And just before we head off, we'll trigger the cutscene here while we're in wireframe mode, and we can see that being in wireframe mode doesn't actually help me killing this guy, he's still invisible. That's just a render thing, it just makes things a little bit more awkward for me. I thought I would be able to do something cool and be able to see him. You know, like some sort of predator vision or something, that would have been cool. But for the moment we are done here and we're going to move ahead into the part of the game that really changed things for me the first time I was playing it through. You'll see it in just a second. Lab main elevator. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Resident Evil. I was really disappointed whenever I saw this. Enemies and tanks? How much more fucking lazy can you get? I mean, if there's one thing that really puts me off about survival horror games is when they go down biotechnology route, and it's the reason why I don't like, well, for the most part anyway, don't like the Resident Evil games. Whenever they start pulling this sort of shit, I just completely lose interest. Just for the sake of things, these things are animating inside the tanks. I'm guessing that they're filled with something that maybe what spear gun fires to kind of keep them sedated. I'm not sure. You can't damage them or anything. But anyway, back to my rant. Whenever they take this sort of turn and try to work in all this biotechnology stuff that is just far too advanced for the modern age at the moment, we just do not have this. And to see it, like, oh yeah, just suspend your disbelief and imagine that we've got monsters kept in tanks. It's just too much for me, and I just completely stopped giving a shit. And from this point on, the game has a lot of this, so get used to it. What we're actually in at the moment is the main elevator for the lab. If you take a peek up through wireframe, you can see that it does go up, and we will be going up, but it won't be this video. It'll be the next video, or maybe the one after that. We take a look at the objectives. We see we've got an extra one now. We're actually in the lab part, and that's where we have to be going through. But as I said, we're not going to be doing that this video, we're going to be doing that in the next one. So, although I'm ending on a bit of a downer, given that I don't really like Resident Evil and all that sort of shit this is reminding me of, we still got plenty of fun yet to come, so I guess I'll see you next time.
Next time on Cold Fear.